What? You don't want me to go away again?
No.
Love you. See you. I'll be safe. I'll look after myself. See you, Lil. Wait. Looking the wrong way, honey. Hello, darling. How are you? G'day, legends. It's probably pretty obvious now, after, if you haven't seen a post, whether that I'm back in Australia in my studio, I guess, doing my thing again. Back to normality. It's always a bit weird returning after something like this, and I had the same thing when I returned from Afghanistan, of this sense of like boredom and a sense of like, does this stuff really matter? Like, you know, at least on the trip I was just doing, it felt like everything I did had like a real purpose. But I was also so busy all the time, whether it be with editing or catching up with people for contacts or networks, and then really progressing to now you come back to such normality. It's like, what now? And a sense of like purpose of just like, oh shit, all I want to do now is go back. But before I get stuck into any of this, I just want to firstly say, like, thank you so much for all those who have supported me through doing this. You know, this is something absolutely brand new to me. I've been doing this maybe 12 or 13 weeks now, like day one, week one, brand new doing this. And, you know, with, you know, mild success and from what I read, people actually enjoy what I create. So that means a lot. Thank you so much. And I'd also thank you for people that have given, you know, decent criticism. The stuff like, you're a wanker, that doesn't really help. But like, if it's, you know, saying like, you know, I believe, Willie, you're wrong on this, or giving an opinion that's contradictory to mine or whatever, that really does a lot, because it, you know, makes me think about what I've said or the information I've put out, and maybe change the way I do it, or look into something more if I believe that, oh shit, maybe I was wrong on that, or, you know, increase the production quality of what I put out. So that also is great. I do appreciate that, and any tips like that I'm absolutely open to, because I'm a one-man show, and just doing this is, you know, I rely on some of that constructive criticism as well. It's fantastic. But I'm also very blessed, and I'm very thankful that I've found something that I really enjoy doing, and something that I'm passionate about. Albeit with, you know, this job, this career, of course, has major challenges involved. And, you know, it will take, I guess, a mental toll. You know, seeing dead bodies and seeing people lose everything, and, you know, just the absolute trauma of a war on the scale of this, you know, is fairly hard on people. And it's definitely, I won't lie, it's been incredibly difficult on myself as well. You know, it's something that's very confronting, especially on the scale of this. This isn't one or two, this is tens of thousands. And personal friends I know, I have a good friend who is a prisoner of war currently in another country. You know, that's one of those things. It's, you know, this is a job that's a toll, but then I believe too that I'm like, well, this is something I'm really passionate about. I believe that I am actually good at this, and I can be a lot better, or I believe I could be good at doing this. And this is what I want to do, because I believe this is where I sort of, my calling is. If that sounds cringy, I don't know. I, you know, had this same sense when I was in a young soldier in the army of like, this is all I want to do. And now I've very much lost that with separating from the defense of like, well, what do I do now? I don't have skills in anything. What the hell do I do? And you sort of float around, and then, you know, I somewhat stumbled into doing this, and I've sort of found a sense of purpose against, and like a new identification. Yeah, something like a new identity. That's wrong. Sorry. Like a new identity of like, this is what I want to do, and this is all I can think about doing, and go from there. And yeah, it's something that is going to come with a lot of challenges, and the main one I'm finding now is how I like make this economically sustainable. Because, like, you know, these big companies, I had no idea how much journalists actually make. Like, a journalist in Ukraine right now earns 1,000 USD, I don't know what that is, 1,400 Australian dollars a day. Like, it's just insane. But their team has thousands of dollars. They can afford, you know, hundreds of dollars for drivers and hundreds of dollars for fixers, which, of course, I could never, absolutely never afford. But due to, you know, being a country at war, everything has just skyrocketed in cost, and that's one of the main reasons I came back. Was I'm like, I need to go back before I've got any money left. So that's my main goal now for this month, I guess, that I'm going to be home, is looking into how I can sustain myself. I don't need to make any money, but I need to at least cover some of the costs, because currently it's just completely out of my savings, because I believe this is very important to do, but that runs out eventually. So I make a little bit off YouTube, you know, I make money off some ads and whatever, but nowhere near covering it. So I just need to, it's a weird mix of like, how do I maintain the authenticity of doing this all myself and actually maintain to continue to do it? Because, like, I know a heap of people that make, well, like journalists or videographers or whatever, similarly to me, but in the pub or whatever, they're the most like authentic people ever. But as soon as you have this whole team of people involved, and the network will have their own bloody thing to push, and then you've got shareholders and your own advertisements and all this crap, that the authenticity, I believe, just gets lost a bit, or at least the ability to just see it and tell it, it will show it exactly how it is over a long period. You might have a 30-second time slot with what's breaking news today, and that everything else before that doesn't matter. So it's hard. I don't want to do that. I don't want to become that. I mean, I just want to maintain as authentic as I can be and show what I see, even if people believe that isn't authentic. Believe your eyes. And that's what I want to do. And then I'll be stepping into other conflicts further down the track. So I'm waiting on a date to go to Africa, and then either before or after the next Ukraine trip, I'm not sure. But there's all these other conflicts popping up that weren't even on my horizon or my radar. You know, I was tracking just the main ones, or the ones that trend through the mainstream media. But there's all these other ones, you know, through like PNG and Africa and the Middle East and all this, that I'm like, I legitimately know absolutely nothing about this. And I think that would be a very important thing to tell and talk about. So it would be great. That's what I want to do, go and tell that. Although the challenges that come with it and the dangers that come with it, I believe, like the truth and showing and informing people what's happening far outweighs that. But of course, there's always that ethical push of like, well, where does my goals in life and my art form, whatever, then hinder on like where does that ethical boundary lie between, you know, the content that I create sort of relies on people going through hell. And that is a very hard boundary. That's something weird. And I think that you're completely stepping over that boundary all the time when you're filming or photographing someone in this. But I guess the way that I sum it up in my own brain is that this is going to be happening whether you're there or not. And the way of, you know, expressing this to the world and maybe getting these people help is by showing the world that through a lens, and that's the best way I can help. I don't know. It's something that I'm still, I guess, coming to terms with, of, you know, that it's like, shit, how do I not just get involved here and help, that I stand back and just be a passive observer of this happening. It's a difficult one. And, you know, the video, and you can probably see I'm physically shaking in that video when I'm in the basement with the old babushka, when, you know, she's explaining how she was born here and everything she's ever had, it's gone, and she just wants to sort of die. You know, of course, after that, I sat with her on that bed and had a hug, and, you know, sat with her for 10 minutes, like, and I was like shaking up myself, because it was, I don't know why, but that just confronted me more so than any other death or anything that I'd seen previously. That really got me. But that's something that I'm going to have to come, I guess, to terms with doing this. But yeah, I'm sorry if this is just completely rambled. But the main point of the video is that I'm back in Australia, and this is what I want to continue doing, and just a thank you to all of you. So cheers, look after yourself, stay safe, and I'll see you soon. Okay, bye-bye.